Children are not our property, and they are not ours to control any more than we were our parents' property or theirs to control. Richard Bach. There are many different styles of parenting, and it's a new experience with each child and their differing needs. Some kids are highly independent. Some need help every step of the way. It's all one big game of trial and error. However, some parents think they need to control and command every aspect of their child's life. They believe the stricter they are, the more successful their child will be. This usually isn't the case. Children of overly controlling parents suffer a wide variety of mental health consequences. Low self-esteem, relationship problems, anxiety, depression, and numerous other issues. Sometimes a child can be so restricted in their life by their parents, they feel backed into a corner and take drastic measures to break free. Jennifer Pan was born on June 17, 1986, to ethnically Chinese Vietnamese immigrants Bic and Han, and her younger brother Felix was born 3 years later. The family lived in the Greater Toronto area in Canada, and both Bic and Han worked for the same auto parts manufacturer. Bic and Han, like any good parents, wanted what was best for their children. They worked and saved and eventually bought a home in Markham, a city in the Greater Toronto area, in 2004. And, since they worked hard, their children had to as well. Bic and Han had high expectations for their children. As such, by age 12, Jennifer was taking music theory and harmony. She was also enrolled in figure skating lessons, which she did nearly every day. Jennifer had dreams of becoming a champion figure skater, but unfortunately, she tore a ligament in her knee, and those hopes were dashed. Jennifer attended Mary Ward Catholic Secondary School, which added another level of restriction to her actions. She played flute in the school band, which she excelled at. When Jennifer entered high school, however, the cracks began to form. Karen Ho, one of Jennifer's high school friends, claimed that Han was a classic tiger dad, and Bic was a reluctant accomplice. Han was excessively strict with Jennifer in his desire to see her succeed. He and Bic would pick Jennifer up from school every day and closely monitored her extracurricular activities. She wasn't allowed to date or attend school dances, as Han believed she would be distracted from academics. While Jennifer's grades were exemplary in elementary and middle school, they slipped in high school as her life became more restricted. Except for music, which she continued to excel at, all of her grades were in the 70% range. To hide her lower grades, she forged her report cards and managed to fool her parents into thinking she was still a straight-A student. Jennifer had received an early admission from Ryerson University, now Toronto Metropolitan University, but it was revoked after she failed grade 12 calculus. This setback didn't stop her from lying, though. Terrified of being perceived as a failure, Jennifer started lying to everyone she knew, not just her parents. She told everyone she was attending university when, in reality, she spent her days sitting in cafes, teaching piano, and working in restaurants. She told her parents she won scholarships and claimed she accepted an offer into the University of Toronto's pharmacology program. She went so far as to purchase secondhand textbooks and watch videos to fill notebooks with class notes to show her parents. Jennifer then asked her parents for permission to stay with a friend who lived closer to campus during the week. The friend in question was actually her high school boyfriend, Daniel Wong. Daniel was not exactly what Han and Bic would envision as a good partner for their daughter, if she were permitted to date. He was an active marijuana dealer and managed a Boston pizza restaurant. While Jennifer was pretending to be a university student, she told one lie too many. She claimed to be volunteering at the hospital for sick children, but her parents noticed she didn't have a hospital uniform or ID badge. Suspicious, Bic followed Jennifer to work and discovered her daughter's deception. Han wanted to throw Jennifer out of the house, but Bic persuaded him to let their daughter stay. But she had new rules to follow. She was forbidden from seeing or contacting Daniel. She wasn't allowed to go anywhere unless it was for her piano lessons. And she started working toward finishing high school while her parents encouraged her to apply to university. Now, one step above a prisoner in her own home, Jennifer secretly kept in contact with Daniel. By 2009, Daniel got tired of trying to maintain the relationship and started seeing another woman. Jennifer, who was obsessed with Daniel, was not happy when she found out. She concocted a story and got in contact with Daniel. She told him a man entered her house, showing her a police badge. A group of men rushed in after him and gang raped her. She said a bullet was mailed to her afterward. Jennifer blamed it all on Daniel's new girlfriend. In 2010, Jennifer started planning, or at the very least, she tested the waters. She was speaking to her old high school friend, Andrew Montemayor, who she claimed boasted about robbing people at knife point. Andrew denied this, but he did put her in contact with Ricardo Duncan, a man who would later be arrested in April 2025 for child luring. Jennifer claimed she paid him $1,500 to get rid of the stresses in her life. She also paid him $200 for a night out, but he later returned the money and declined the job she wanted him to do. By now, Jennifer was back in contact with Daniel. The pair put their heads together and decided to hire a professional hitman. They would pay $10,000, as Jennifer believed she would inherit $50,000 from the death of her parents. Daniel put Jennifer in touch with Lenford Crawford and gave her an iPhone and SIM card so she wouldn't need to use her usual cell phone for communication. Lenford contracted Eric Sniper Carty, who, in turn, contracted David Milvaganam. Jennifer and her 4 cohorts came up with a plan. On November 8th, 2010, Jennifer quietly unlocked the front door of the family home and went to bed. A short while later, after receiving confirmation from Jennifer, David entered the home with 2 other men. These men were not Daniel and Lenford, as they were both at work at the time. Eric waited in the car, serving as the driver, planner, and the one who hired the new gunman. Once inside, the trio demanded all the money in the house and tossed the master bedroom. They took Bick and Han into the basement, threw sheets over them, and shot them both several times. The trio then fled the house with $2,000. Jennifer, who claimed the gunman tied her up during the invasion, somehow managed to call 911. Bick died of her injuries on the scene, but Han was taken to Markham Stouffville Hospital. He had to be airlifted to a trauma unit at Sunnybrook Hospital in Toronto and was able to survive. Luckily, Felix was not home the night of the attack. Police originally suspected the family's wealth was the motive for the break-in, but they noticed numerous valuables had not been stolen. They also found it unusual that Jennifer was left unharmed and somehow dialed 911 with her hands bound. Jennifer's story would soon unravel when her father woke from his coma and was able to speak with the police. He told them that he recalled seeing his daughter speaking with one of the intruders in a soft, friendly voice. Jennifer would be arrested on November 22nd. During Jennifer's 3rd police interview, she admitted to hiring the hitmen. She insisted they were meant to kill her, though, as she hated being perceived as a failure. The interrogating officer, William Getz, used the Reed technique to obtain Jennifer's confession. This technique has the interrogating officer set up a high-pressure environment, which is followed by sympathy and offers of help and understanding if a confession is forthcoming. William told Jennifer he had computer software that was able to analyze lies in her statements, and that there were satellites with infrared to see movements inside buildings. In Canada, police are legally allowed to lie to those they are interrogating in regard to the evidence to be used in a trial and the strategies used to obtain it. While Jennifer was being held at Central East Correctional Center in Lindsay, Ontario, awaiting trial, police worked to arrest her accomplices. David was the first to be arrested. police apprehended him at the Jane Finch Mall in North York in April 2011. Several days later, Eric was arrested at Maplehurst Correctional Complex, where he was being held for an unrelated crime. On April 26th, Daniel was arrested at his place of work. The following month, police caught Lenford, the last of the group. The trial began in March 2014 and lasted for 10 months. All 5 defendants pled not guilty to first-degree murder, attempted murder, and conspiracy to commit murder. Over the course of the trial, over 200 pieces of evidence were presented, and 50 witnesses testified. Some of the evidence presented included mobile device tracking, over 100 text messages that Jennifer and Daniel exchanged in the 6 hours leading up to the attack, the unusual circumstances of the break-in, robbery and shooting, and Jennifer's lack of injuries. Jennifer's inconsistent testimony was cold and emotionless as she recounted her trauma and the crime carried out in her home. Her credibility was undermined when Hahn told the court his account of events. The jury was sequestered for 4 days while they deliberated. When they returned with their verdict, Jennifer, Daniel, David, and Lenford were found guilty. They were subsequently sentenced to 25 years to life. Eric was originally tried with the others, but when his lawyer fell ill, his case was deemed a mistrial. However, in December 2015, he pled guilty to conspiracy to commit murder and received a sentence of 18 years. Eric said he did not wish to subject Hahn to another criminal trial. He would have been eligible for parole after 9 years, but was found dead in his cell in 2018. Police claimed he had been stabbed. After sentencing, Jennifer and her accomplices were sent to different prisons across Canada. Jennifer's brother, Felix, requested and was granted a restraining order, despite her lawyer's objections. She was also banned from contacting Daniel. In May 2023, the Court of Appeal in Ontario granted an appeal to Jennifer and her accomplices. A new trial was granted on the grounds that the judge made an error in judgment, instructing the jury to only consider 2 scenarios that would justify the first-degree murder charge and nothing that could lead to a lesser conviction. The Crown appealed to the Supreme Court of Canada to restore the first-degree murder convictions. The accused submitted cross appeals saying the judge's error in their original trial tainted their convictions. The Supreme Court upheld the Court of Appeal's decision in a 7-2 majority in April 2025. Chief Justice Richard Wagner wrote, "While there was strong evidence supporting the Crown's theory that both parents were targets, there was no undisputed evidence contradicting the idea that the plan was only to kill the father." Andromache Karakasanis and Sheila Martin argued against this. They wrote, "Even when Jay's evidence is taken at its most favorable, it is speculative to find that because Jay had less animus toward her mother and had months earlier planned the death of only her father, that the plan on the night in question was also to kill only her father." All attempted murder charges have been upheld, and the 2 men who entered the house with David were never identified. Overly controlling and strict parents often have the opposite of their desired effect on their children. Their pushing makes kids want to act out, to do things they have been forbidden to do. Anyone caged and backed into a corner is likely to lash out, to snap. How and when are unpredictable. But instead of separating herself from her mentally abusive household, Jennifer went too far in her revenge. Her parents pushed and Bick lost her life when Jennifer pushed back. Hahn will live with that for the rest of his life.